are welcoming you guys to the Life Now Agency training. Today is July 12th, 2020. All right. What we're going over today is the work schedule. We are talking about breaking down the presentation. Let me turn that down. The importance of asking the key questions and getting people to answer the phones. All right. And as we go through, you will understand why we are going back. This is kind of like going back to the old boot camp days. We used to have a boot camp every single Monday. Now that because of this virus and everything that's going on, we really don't have a boot camp. We do have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday conference calls. And I just felt that it was necessary, especially for my team, to get back to the basics. I have a lot of brand new agents and even older agents that can benefit from this information. I know for myself, I'm constantly going back and reading over old old notes, going back and watching even my old videos myself and being refreshed, because we can drop the ball and forget a lot of things if we are not active. All right. So first thing, again, we're going to go over is this work schedule. Now, guys, it is so important to buy or create or ask somebody to share, if they have a digital planner, if you prefer digital, or if you need a paper planner. It is very important for you to find one that works best for you. As my agents know, I have been trying to go digital, and I have completely been dropping the ball and not getting anything done because I am one that likes to have paper. It is what it is. And it's okay. It is 100% okay, but you need to identify what it is that works best for you and then get it. No excuses. Find a planner. You need to have a planner because you need to understand what it is that you are doing, what you're working for. You need to be able to see right in front of you your month, what other appointments you may have, whether you have, doctor appointments set up, if you have children appointments set up or activities, whatever the case may be. You need to have a full picture of what is going on in your life, and then you're able to plan in your business activity. If we don't plan it, it never happens. Trust me. That's me. All right. I'll be the first one to tell on myself. We want to set clear IPAs per day. IPAs are income producing activities. All right. That is going to be whether you're working your leads. If you have policyholders and you decide that that's what you're going to focus on is your existing clients, orphan list. In the event that you have newer agents have worked up to a certain level where your manager trusts you to be able to take on some orphan policyholders or orphan leads, or we call them leads, then you would want to set a day to be able to work for those individuals. Neighborhood enrolling, that's what NE stands for. That is street kinging it. All right. That means that you may have a lead in a certain area and you want to just knock all the doors in that area. You can knock 3-4 streets within that area because everyone received the lead letter. Now, of course, you won't know if in fact they turn that lead letter back in, but you can know and you can be confident in knowing that a letter came to their house. All right. So it's definitely one that takes courage, right? Because you are going and knocking on a cold door, but you could have the clipboard with a copy of the lead letter and just, hey, how you doing? My name is Christine Ill. I was just down the street helping one of your neighbors that requested this information. I know that you guys received this letter also. Not sure if you opened it up. However, has anybody been here to go over this final expense information with you? Takes about 10 minutes. All right. So it is not that difficult to say those things. It's very short, sweet, and to the point. And there's a lot of people that would say, you know what, I've been thinking about it. I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you knocked on the door. You're going to get a lot of people that says, you know what, I'm not interested. So what? It's okay. Keep going on to the next. And then referrals. This is one of the things that I have completely dropped the ball on. I know in my own mind, I have reasons why I stopped asking for the referrals when I was traveling, but that doesn't even make any sense when I sat down and thought about it again, right? And I'll tell you what my idea or thought was. I stopped getting the referrals or asking for them because I thought I was traveling and I didn't want to get referrals because I wasn't sure when I would be back in that area. But as life would have it, I'm always going to the same area, so I should have been getting the referrals. So yes, referrals are amazing. It is free money. More people will write a policy because their aunt, their mom, their father, their cousin, their best friend referred you to them because they got it. They're more comfortable with buying the policy just on the fact that their loved one got it. All right. So referrals are amazing. And you guys know Ty Scott is #1 in that area. So any questions on that, you can definitely ask him. You can ask me too, but referrals is the way to go. Even with people that do not want the benefit, they feel like they don't need it. You can let them know, who do you know that could benefit from this program? And you don't want to leave it as a blanket statement like that because almost everybody will say, well, I don't know anyone. But when you put names out there like your mom, your father, if they're still alive, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your uncles, your child's father or your child's mother, somebody that may have just had a heart attack or has cancer or had COPD or lung issues. When you start naming certain things, they start thinking about, oh, well, Dad, you know what? So-and-so has it, because they may have thought about the person, but thought that they wouldn't qualify. So you definitely want to go ahead and name certain things to help them jog their memory. All right. Mindset of an insurance agent. Well, let me stop. Here is an example of what I use. Of course, this is my my planner that I had created. So you see here, it has the monthly overview, and I like to keep track of my pays. What you focus on expands, right? So I definitely like to keep track of when I'm getting paid and how much. And then I have just like any other planner, a full month here. The wins of the month, when am I tracking for my yearly goal? If I'm on track, if not, why? And then just a little box for some notes for myself. Over here is the weekly overview. So I have Sunday through Thursday and then Friday and Saturday over here. And up top, I could put the 3 major things, my major goals. And if you notice right here on the side where it has, okay, I don't know what I just did, keeping track. Sorry, guys. Here we go. So right over here to keep track, I have Monday through Sunday on there as well. So say if the first thing I want to keep track is I want to make sure I'm getting 1 app per day. So on Monday, if I receive that app, I can put a check mark on there. If I didn't, I could put an X, right? If I'm keeping track of working out, I want to do some type of or some form of workout every single day, then I can mark in there if I'm keeping track or not, if I'm doing it or not. And a third one, a good one is, your daily devotion. Are you spending that time with God, right? You can put that on there. So you can do anything on there. Are you drinking your 8 glasses of water a day? I mean, whatever you want to keep track of, the things that are going to help you to be a more successful agent and a better person, you want to track those things. And so that's why I put that on my sheet, as well as, of course, speaking life into yourself, if you will. And I always have that at the top, just to be mindful, to love on you, and then your to-do list. All right. And then that next page is showing the activity. All right. Life insurance agents, it is very important for us to track our activity. I put it down where I can print it and keep track of this on a weekly basis. You can also do the 20-point sheet as well. That's already been posted on the Life Now group. And it was just recently posted on the 3 million group. Not sure if it was on Peace of Mind or not, but I can repost the 20 page or the 20 points. I think it was. I think we just talked about that. But these are just tools that help you to keep track, right? It doesn't make any sense to grab all of these things and do nothing with it. It just doesn't. But if you notice on here, as far as your activity, this helps me to see, okay, what is my lead balance? What's my chargeback balance? What is my DMP to date? How many leads did I purchase? Are there any appointments that I have set for the day? How many calls did I make dials out? How many calls to my NTO? That means people that they started a policy, but the first payment didn't come out, so it's not taken out. How many people lapsed and how many canceled, right? Am I making calls to those reports daily? Whenever you've been here for years, you have a lot that you can do. So you always have work. Brand new agent, you may not have an NTO or any cancellations or lapsed clients. That's a good thing. Don't have to worry about filling out that box. But again, this just helps you to keep track of your business. We have so many different things that we need to keep track of doing this business. A lot of times I think we forget. I know I completely forget sometimes. We get into that, buy leads, trying to sell the clients and just consistently trying to sell. but there's other parts of the business that needs to be worked as well that keeps the money coming, right? Because the policy that stays is the policy that pays. So we definitely need to work the other reports. Calling referrals. I will be the first one to say that I have still a stack of referrals that I never called. Why not, right? I know I'm not alone in that. I don't even know. I may have grabbed all the referrals because there was a contest to see who could gain the most referrals. And then, I won the contest, but I never called the people. Crazy. Yes, I know. Door knocking your leads. Door knocking the neighborhood. Again, that's that NE. How many doors did you hit? Tracking. Everything here is to keep track, to help you to see at the end of your day, at the end of your week, at the end of your month, if you are not making money, you will be able to see why. And in most cases, it's because the majority of that form will be blank. Because a lot of times we sit and we're doing too much getting ready to get ready, right? Grabbing and collecting things. It was time to move. It's time to move. And then, of course, that 100 presentation challenge sheet. Again, I love doing that because it helps me to keep track of the no's and the yeses, right? Sometimes we get too consumed in the no's. But when you have a sheet to help you see, well, how many no's did you get? And then how many yeses? And how much were the yeses for the premium? And then, you get to see a pattern. And then you also get to see, okay, normally I get about 3 no's before I get a yes. Okay, this is my 3rd no. Great. Thank you for getting off the way. And you want to keep going because now you know and you're excited that the yes is right around the corner. I love to play games with myself. It helps me to stay sane. It helps me to keep moving forward. And it helps me to see that, again, the yeses and the money is right around the corner. Back to the mindset of the insurance agent. People skills are so important. It's so important, right? Most of us, I want to say all of us that are on the Peace of Mind group and the Life Now group have people skills. If I talk to you to interview and I didn't pick up any type of a people skill, I didn't feel any warm and fuzzy, conversation, I couldn't relate with you, I wouldn't hire you, right? Because I understand that is a key point when you are talking to leads, when you are talking to these lives out in the world. You need and you have to be able to have those people skills to talk to all kinds and all types of people. All right. It is very important. If you feel that you are struggling in that area, call your upline, call your manager, get a book, get an audio book, type in on YouTube, people skills. There's a million things online that you can learn and grow for free. All right. On your own time. Take the time to grow. That is only going to help you to be a better person, a better agent, all the way around. All right. Customer service, that is key. It is not just enough to sell the client and be done with it, but following up with those clients, making sure that they completed their family wish forms, checking on them maybe once or twice a year, just to send them a postcard like, hey, just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. If you need anything, I'm still here for you. Things like that. You want to stay in front of your client. Those are the clients that are going to stick to you more than anybody else, because I don't know how many times I have heard people say, I never heard from my agent before. I can cancel that policy. We are the person that is selling, right? I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Thank you, Ty. I see the message. It just popped up there. So we are the ones, we are the ones that need to make sure that those clients stay on the books. All right. Even text messaging. I have started within the last year asking every single one of my clients if they receive text message or not. And then I put it in my phone, whether or not they receive text. So if their phone number is one that can receive text, when I save it, I put it under mobile. If it is not, I put it under telephone. That way I know when I open up the contacts, I can tell if they can receive a text message. It is so much easier for me to send a blast text message out to a ton of my clients. They don't know it's a group text. It goes out. I use a software that it'll send each one individually. And yes, great. They know I'm thinking about them. They're now thinking about me. It keeps my people on the books. All right. Emotional intelligence. Some people might not even know what that means, right? But what that means is you need to be emotionally available for your clients from the door. If you are knocking on that door and you are not able to get into an emotion, you cannot relate to them coming to the door appearing as though they're having a bad day, or they look like they're sad, or they look like they're sick, or they look like they're in pain. If you cannot empathize with them, you're going to lose it. You won't even get in the door. And when you're in the door, you have to be able to have the same, sorry, I'm about to scream upstairs. You have to have that same empathy for the individuals in the house, right? I say it all the time. When I'm out in the field, when I'm on the phones, that is like my movie. I will cry over some movies like that, right? Because I get all the way in, like I'm all the way involved. When I'm in a house or I'm on the phone with somebody, I am all the way involved. That's why I don't like to hear things that are going around me, because I can get distracted easily. I want to be tuned in. I want to hear what they're saying. I want to hear between the words of what they're saying. And I want to be able to respond in a way that they understand that I am listening and I care. People are buying us. They're not buying the product. All right. We have to remember that. Yes, the product is amazing. And yes, that family support service is our sizzle. But if we can't get to the sizzle, it doesn't matter, right? It's us. High energy level. There is no way in the world you are going to make it if you are getting on the phone sounding like you hate your job and you're tired of making calls and this is dumb and you're sick of COVID. Like, you got to be on the phone like, hey, oh my God, I'm so glad you answered. Because they're going to wonder, well, what the heck? You're so excited. What are you excited about? If you have no excitement, they don't want to talk to you. Period. I don't want to talk to you. No, I'm kidding. I'll talk to you. Because at the end of our conversation, we're going to be cracking up and I'm going to share some of my energy, right? But that is important. High energy is so important. It is so important. Persistency. I spelled that wrong, but persistency is necessary. I don't know how many times I've seen posts on GroupMe where somebody is like, I contacted this person 8 times. I tried to get this person for the last year. You cannot give up. You cannot think that, oh, I've called them 3 times. I worked that lead. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And even if you had a presentation and it kind of went okay and they didn't close, they didn't really say no, and they definitely didn't say yes because you didn't get a check, that's not a work lead either. You can come back to that lead. You need to call them again. When we get out, you can door knock them like, hey, I was just in the area, wanted to check in with you. We spoke a little while ago, whatever, right? Keeping good notes. You definitely want to make sure you're keeping some good notes and being honest, right? You guys, don't try to write a policy on somebody that you know is dying tomorrow. Like, just don't do it, because it's a chargeback. That's like going out and getting a payday advance loan. It'll hurt your business. I promise. It'll hurt your business. So just don't do things like that. With Lincoln, it's very hard not to be honest when you're writing a policy, because they are doing the verification and checking a prescription. So thank God for that. But you just want to be honest with your clients. If they, if they're asking you a question and you don't know the answer, don't lie. Don't just make something up. Tell them, you know what, that is a really good question. And before I leave here today, I'm going to make sure that you get that answer and write it down. Keep on going with your presentation, and then make sure you answer that question before you leave. Honesty is key. All right. Product knowledge. Product knowledge. You need to know your product. Yes, final expense is very simple. However, there are certain things that you need to know. You need to know the process of a funeral or a cremation. Our process. What happens when a loved one dies? How do they get their money? What is the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society there for? How are they going to help the family? You need to know your product, all right? How your modified plans work, how your final expense plan works, how your 20-pay plan works. No, we don't have a lot of products. We just have 3. Right? And then the family support service. But you need to know that. You should know what is on every line of that family support form, part A and part B. You should know without having to look at the form. You should know the medical questions on your application without having to look at that app. You should know the disqualifying questions that will disqualify somebody from being able to get a policy from us. You should know these things. You should know them. Working 9 to 5. Corporate job example. All right. I put down a question as I was thinking about this. If you were your own boss, based on the activity that you have put forth and the studying that you have put forth for your position right now, would you fire you? Would you fire you? It's a serious question, right? Serious question. Even for myself, I was like, as far as the writing business side, yeah, I would be fired. I would absolutely be fired. Management side, I think I do pretty good. I put a lot of energy and time into training materials and training. Making my calls, oh, I'd be fired. I'd be out of here, right? Being honest. The most, again, going back to the honesty, you need to be honest with yourself too. When I think back to when I worked for Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield for my 14 years, at the end, before they laid me off, one of the main reasons why I was kind of glad they laid me off is because they would not give me the time off when my sister was in the hospital, suffering from her stroke, and she had coded several times. And it was a big deal for them to let me leave because I was in management and I was in a department that was dealing with the claims. So it was a high-end position. It was dealing with thousands, millions of dollars on a daily basis. And I was not permitted. I was never allowed to take a Thursday off, ever. Never, right? Holidays. I didn't always get the holidays that I wanted. Vacation time. You had to put that thing in almost a year early and hope that somebody that wasn't there longer than you didn't want the same time, right? When I sit back and I think about all those things, it blows my mind because I'm going to say all of us, take more time off from our business than we should. All of us. And if I'm wrong, y'all can speak up. You can definitely speak up. If I'm wrong, just put in the chat, like, you're wrong, Chris. I don't take no time off. And then I'm telling your manager. But seriously, we don't feel good. No, I don't feel good today. I'm not making any calls. I'm not doing knocking. But if we were working a 9 to 5, if we felt the same way and we didn't go into that company and clock in, we wouldn't have a job. But we give ourselves so much leeway, especially in the beginning when we shouldn't. I talk about all the time. I look at some of the other managers that have been here the same time I've been here, and their income is double than mine. Why? Because they came in full time and I didn't. And even when I came in full time, I ran real hard for 2.5 years, and then I went back to part time, right? Yeah, you can say, well, I'm training, but that's an excuse too, because there are people that are training that still do 2 digits in a comma. Now, they might not do 20 or 30,000 because it does take a lot of time to train people, to talk to them, to help motivate them, and all of that other great stuff that managers and trainers do. However, we can still produce, right? So just thinking about those things when the next day you want to drink an extra, bottle of wine. And yeah, I said a whole bottle of wine, because you know that tomorrow you're going to be tired. You're not going to want to jump up and just have that energy to do what's necessary. So we need to be thinking about those things, just like we would think about those things if we were punching a clock. If we knew that there was a guaranteed paycheck at the end of the 2 weeks, we would show up. Guess what? There is a guaranteed pay before the 2 weeks if you show up and do the job. All right? Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. I mean, I went to work sick at times because I knew I was out of sick days. I went to work throwing up in the garbage for them to tell me, oh, Christine, you need to leave, because now it was okay. Now I wouldn't get a merit. Now I wouldn't lose my job. I remember those days, right? Feelings. Feelings don't feel good, right? Don't live your life based on your feelings. Do what is necessary despite your feelings and win your life right now. You got to do it anyway. Trust me, feelings will get you in trouble. I think that's why a lot of men, they can just go for the most part. And us women will be like, are you serious right now? Like, this is going on, that's going on, this is going on, because we're all caught up in our feelings and the emotions, thinking that we have to do this thing right now, opposed to really there's nothing we can do with that. That's just the feeling, that's that emotion. Where's that logic? You know, I'm very jealous that men have logic more so than women do, right? Because it would be nice to just be like, okay, let me just throw this over here, throw this over there, compartmentalize all of that, go ahead and go to work and come back and deal with that later. And then even we would be able to understand the men too. I'm just saying. But feelings, we have to put them to the side. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. I don't feel good. I'm nauseated. I got diarrhea. Listen, you're working from home. You're working from home on the phone. You can be right in that bathroom with the phone on mute. That's a joke. That's a joke. But you can. I hear my husband upstairs cracking up. All right. We're done with that section. Any questions, any comments, anything at all? Well, I can see the screen now. Anybody have anything that they want to say about that section?
I do, Chrissy.
All right, honey, speak up. Thank you. So, my coffee.
I know you were talking about the work schedule, and for me, I really struggle in this area. I redo my schedule, go back to my schedule. I'm always finding myself readjusting my schedule. And I know a lot too is because this is not ingrained in me. It's not, it's a new behavior. It's something new that, you know, I'm still trying to get used to. So I don't know how you were able, or if that's just a gift of yours, but for me, I struggle with, okay, I have a schedule up on my wall, but defining, okay, between this and this time, when am I going to do what? It's like the planning of it. I really struggle in organizing. And I don't know if anybody else has, but for me, this has been a pet peeve of myself. And I know this is why I'm not successful, or haven't been as successful as I wanted to in this area of that I need to be in, making sure that I'm getting my IPAs in there, you know, and making sure that I'm still scheduling my family time and cooking and balancing all these things because when I was in a work, you know, I was able to multitask at work. So I definitely understand that, but it's frustrating because everything is like here at home. So it's like everything still gets bundled up. So I don't know, how were you able to, you know, balance that? I know I'm rambling, sorry.
No, you're not. No, it makes perfect sense. And I don't have it 100% perfect. Raheem will be the first to say, he would be pulling me into like, okay, you need to get back into the balance part of it, because I will go all the way here with working, right? I'm a workaholic. They should have like AA for workaholics, for real. So it's that team, it's the teamwork. And do I like when he tells me that all the time? No, it's uncomfortable, because I'm like, but I'm doing it for this and for that and for us and for this and then the third. So it definitely has to have a balance. As far as like when I write it down, right? So I do have it already written out in my hard copy planner, because you guys don't like paper. Just give you an example of this week, because I now have cleared up. Thank you, Lord. I have cleared up all of the extra things so that I could 100% focus on my business, right? And in that, it comes to what needs to be done. And for me, just put, of course, because you asked me, I do have 1,000 things that I can do, right? You've been here a little while too. So you have NTO and laps. You have service reports. Not really, because you're at almost, I think you're at 100% persistency. Great job in that too. Great job in that. you don't have a whole lot of clientele because you were part-time as well in the beginning, but you have the leads. Your focus is building your clientele. So you have referrals, people that you were able to pick up while you were out doing the other business, and you need to focus on dials. And we're going to get into these dials in a minute, but dials, your calls, you know, again, I'll tell you what I have down as far as what I'm focused on every day for this week. For Monday, I put down, I need to type up these letters. I have letters from clients. I had 3 people that I sold that on my voicemail asking for the thank you letter. Like, do you have any business cards? So-and-so was asking me for a card, and I was looking and I didn't even get them yet. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm messing up my own business by not sending out the thank you letter with my business cards that I told them I was going to do, right? Thank God I didn't say you get in 3 days, because I completely would have been off of that. However, I had voicemails of clients saying, hey, I was looking for your cards. I need to get those done. So tomorrow, that is on the top of my list, right? Typing my letters. Then I have, my goal is to get 10 people back on the book. So I'm working my NTO and my lapse report, my personal NTO and lapse report. Okay. So that's what I have set for Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to be calling through my leads, my 70 and my 80-year-olds. Yes, I did go through those leads last week when I think last week or the week before, when I was going through all of the millions of leads. And I'm like, listen, it's overwhelming. I need to break this down. So I broke them down. My 80-year-olds and my 70-year-olds, they're getting called first. And then I have, so that's on Tuesday. And then type the letters as I sell, right? As I get them on, I'm going to type the letters. My goal was to sell 5 families. On Wednesday, my leads, I'm calling the rest of the people if I didn't get through all the 70 and 80s, because I do have quite a bit of old people, because I have leads from 2019 also. But I'm calling the 60 people that are in their 60s. And then Thursday, I'm calling the people in their 50s and 60s. And then Friday, I am actually going to be cleaning up. So any callbacks, whatever's going on, Friday is my cleanup day, typing letters. Okay. And then I have Saturday is open to fill the gaps. So whatever I feel that I did not complete or need to go back to, I will do that on Saturday. All right. And then Sunday I get to relax. If I hit all of my goals from Monday through Friday, I will also relax on Saturday, because that is also something that I don't do. Like, I like to work, but like the last couple of days, I really was just sitting and chilling upstairs with the family on the deck with the fireplace. And it was nice. I'm like, oh, this is all right too. Don't judge me, y'all. So that's what I have down. All right. It's in front of me. It has to be in front of me. When I had the schedule that I was doing very well on, when I was doing my 2 digits and a comma, I had it in my cell phone. Raheem would be like, what is that? I'm like, that's my alarm. I would have every block of time when I had said I was supposed to be on the phones, I would put it in my cell phone to alert me. Yeah. When I was supposed to be going and making lunch, I had it in my phone to say, okay, like 10 minutes before time, it's time for you to wind down and go make lunch or dinner for the family, or whatever day it was, if it was my turn. Having the alarm set. I just recently downloaded an app for drinking water, because we are struggling with this water intake. I need the alarms. So if you're struggling the same way, put the alarms in your phone to keep you accountable. When that irritating thing goes off, you're looking at it and it says, start dialing. You got 10 minutes. Get your water, get your coffee, get your paper, get your tracking sheet, get on the phones. All right. Regardless of what's going on. I fortunately do have somebody else in the house that's making calls, and I will sit there and watch him, and it still blows my mind that he can sit there with the TV on in front of him and make calls. I'm sitting there like, the people don't hear the TV, but he tells them, because of this pandemic and everything, the company has us with social distancing, working from home, so please excuse if you hear any noise in the background. He says the same thing that Lincoln Heritage says when we call them. And I just sit there, and because in my mind, and that's the thing, guys, we got to focus about what is going on in here that's keeping us from doing the things that we need to do. In my mind, I'm thinking, it's got to be quiet. They can't hear anything. They're not going to think I'm a serious agent because there's noise. My dog's barking. The kids are talking. and he's writing every day. That is your own hang up. That was my hang up. So you got to move past that, right? Did that help you at all, Michelle?
Yes, that did.
Okay.
That did.
Yeah. We got our own isms that we got to move. We got to move out the way. Anybody else? All right. We're going good on this time. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Breaking down the presentation. We all have presentations. Some of us have more than one. I know I have like 5 different presentations. But you really need to understand each part of the presentation. Your introduction and your discovery questions, that should be first, right? Obviously your introduction, but the discovery questions too. That can be while you're in there warming up with an individual. Myself, I am not big on sports. I don't know any of these rappers, none of this extra stuff. I just don't know about any of those things to be able to have an educated conversation about it. But I know people, right? So I always warm up with, how are you doing today? How are you holding up? Right now it's because of the pandemic. Has it hit anybody close in your family? Oh my God, that is amazing. I'm glad that it didn't. If it did, wow, well, what's going on? Do they have symptoms? I am talking directly about the person and what's going on with them. All right. Be a person. Listen to what they're saying. I tell my agents, I tell myself, when I start to call the people, I like to say the name a few times so that when it rolls off my tongue, it sounds like I know them. I'm a familiar voice because the way I say their names. And I want them to know that I care. I don't want to just sound like I'm reading the script. I don't want to sound like all I want is their check. I want to understand, why did they fill out this form? Is it just for themselves or for another loved one? What's going on with their health? Like, I want to know all these things so that I can help to fit them in the best program possible, right? I want to know, did they think about if they want to be cremated or buried? Have they ever been responsible? Like, these are little questions that we're going to get into in a bit. But your discovery questions, those key questions, they are important. If you don't ask them, you won't know why you're here, and you won't be able to get into the emotion of that client or potential client or lead if it doesn't end up being a client, right? You'll never be able to tap into their emotion to get them even thinking about why it is important for them to make this decision today. All right. You want to go through the qualifying medical questions in the beginning, because this is going to help you to shape your presentation, unless you just do a blanket presentation, right? Where you're not really going into your day one or your modified, you're using blanket statements, which is very possible, without saying, you can get up to 35,000, because obviously if you did not do the medical questions, you don't know if their final expense are modified. You don't want to tell them, oh, you could possibly get 35,000, and then boom, find out they have COPD, and now you're showing them 15, and they're thinking, well, what about the 35, right? You want to be careful. This is also product knowledge, knowing the medical questions, right, on your app, but qualifying them, knowing those medical questions. And then going into the second part, which is your presentation and your objections. Again, you can base what you are going to talk about based on the information that you just uncovered. What do they want done? Do they have any other life insurance that you're going to be working with? Have they ever been responsible for a funeral before? Financially responsible? Do they even know what's going to take place? If not, this is the time for you to educate. Not too much, but enough for them to get an idea that this is serious business and they need our family support. Because if they never had to deal with it, trust me, their beneficiary most likely has not either. And they are going to need us at that worst time of their lives. All right. You always want to know, I hear and I see people posting about other companies on the group means, what about this company? What about that company? What do you know about this company? What do you know about that company? It doesn't matter. But if you are one of those people kind of like me, where I like to know like details, Google it. Google is your best friend. I promise. You can get that answer like this without waiting for somebody to give you their version of their truth of what they read. Google it. Your business. Take your time to learn your job. Google it. I am in clients' homes, or I'm on the phone, and I thank God for telesales. I will be on a computer. They're talking to me and I'm Googling. So I'd be like, oh yeah, well, you realize that that funeral home, they only go up to such and such. They have like 5 different, and I sound like I know everything because I'm on Google, y'all, and they don't even see me. I absolutely love it. Google, okay? Listen, use your phone if you have to while you're talking. You can Google, right? Use your computer, your tablet. We're at home. We can use everything. We can have our notes. You can have your presentation in front of you, or you can have it right on your screen. I like to have the paper one in front of me so that I can use my Google because I like Google. I don't know everything. Even though I've been here 8 years, I am still researching. I still look up companies. I'm like, I've never, I won't say I've never heard that company before. I'm going to Google it while they're telling me what they have. Oh, well, do you know if it's term or whole life, right? You don't have to know everything right now to do your job and to be successful. You don't. Right now is almost easier because you can utilize your devices. So do so, and don't feel bad about it. Just do what's necessary, all right? Our passion really needs to kick in when we are talking about the Funeral Consumer Guardian Society, because that is our sizzle. That is, nobody else has it. Nobody. And even with that other company that has something similar, they charge their clients for that membership. They charge their clients, okay? And those clients have to get the casket from that benefit. And the caskets are not cheaper than Walmart or the program that our Funeral Consumer Guardian Society uses at all. And yeah, the agents force it on the clients because they won't get advanced if they don't sell it to their clients. So, I mean, it's craziness. Ours is free. It's easy. They get ID cards, and our company is going to make the phone calls to help them get the best price possible. Like, it really is amazing. It really is amazing. The objections. You want to handle the objections throughout your presentation. So the majority of the presentations, somebody that's modified, they would say something like, oh, well, I can just save that money. But if you're talking about, oh, my goodness, I see that you've had COPD and you just had a heart attack. Yeah, have you been shopping around? Have you been getting turned down by a lot of companies? And sometimes they'll say, well, yeah. And other times they'll say, well, no. And they might be lying. It's okay. You could say, well, you know what? A lot of companies would not even touch you because of those pre-existings. But guess what? I'm going to be able to get you covered. And it's going to be better than any kind of savings account. And this is what I do say. I call it a high interest savings account for the first 2 years. God forbid, if anything happens in the first year, your level is going to get the return on premium plus 10%. They're not giving that on any accounts right now. And guess what? If you happen to die in your second year, all your premiums plus 20% interest. So you don't have to worry about any of your money being touched because of any emergencies that pop up, or any children or grandchildren calling you and asking you for money, and you see it in that savings. That's why a lot of us don't have money now, because we see it sitting in the account and we're giving it to our family. This money will be protected. You make it your 3rd year and you're good to go, as I say. But we really don't want you to go, right? And they laugh. It's all in how you explain it. Okay, that's dealing with that objection. So I don't hear, well, I can just save that money anymore, because I learned how to say those things through my conversation. All right. Closing, collecting that check. Once you're finished doing your presentation, guys, it is very, very, very beneficial to do a recap. Not a full presentation again, but a recap. All right, Mr. Jones. So based on the information that I gathered with you, you don't have any of these pre-existing conditions, so I'm able to get you qualified for a day 1 plan. That means, again, that we're going to be able to pay your loved ones within 24 hours of claim approval, and it's day 1. So God forbid if you were to pass, within your first year to 2 years. All right. This also is going to be, what we call the preferred rate. I also know that you said you want to be cremated. You don't want to have any viewings or anything like that. You can come in that. Okay. You want to be cremated. You don't want a viewing. You want a direct cremation. You don't want nothing fancy, and you want the rest of the money to go to your children, your grandkids, right? Recapping. That lets them know that you were listening. But guess what? Even if it's hard for you to remember all that, write it down. I have tons of scratch paper. I doodle and write all the time. Everything that's going on a call. So I have it in front of me. They can't see you. It's a perfect time to perfect your presentation. Excuse me. Recap. Let them know that you heard them, you understand, you were listening. You are going to create a plan for them. You do not want to ask your client, well, do you want me to show you quotes for 35,000, 30, and 25? You are the professional. You are showing the quotes based on your conversation. You're going to put the packet together. You're the benefit coordinator. All right. If they're saying cremation, don't be like most of us new agents and say, I'm going to show you 1,500, 3,005. Don't do that either. Okay. Because we don't know when they're going to die. So right now I let them know, listen, I'm going to let you know exactly how much you qualify for today. And please just be honest. If it's something that is not what you want or it is too expensive, please let me know. Don't hang up. I'm able to fit in most people's budgets. All right. But I don't want to not tell you what you qualify for. Fair enough. Okay, great. Show them what they qualify for. Deal with whatever they say. They're like, oh my God, that's crazy. I'm like, listen, I know when I seen the number, I was thinking that too. Whatever. Right. All right, honey, let me go ahead and take you down. So you said cremation. You don't want to leave any extra. Right now it's about $5,000 to $6,000. Let me show you 10 because we don't know when you're going to pass. Try to give you a little bit of room so that you don't have to make any changes anytime soon. Right. And then show them 15, 12, 10. I like to show between 2,000 to 3,000 difference. I really don't like to do 10, 15, and 5. It's just too much of a gap. But, you know, do what your upline has told you to do. Because I know we have a couple people on here that's not direct to me. I like, again, do a 15, a 12, and a 10, right? 10, 8, 6, things like that. If my client said they have a $5,000 policy, I am not showing them an example of a $5,000 policy today. Why? Because they may be spending $20-something for that $5,000 and ours is going to be $60 because they're older. So I usually try not to show them the exact amount of what they currently have. But again, I do explain when I explain term and whole life that it's based on their age and their health today. And I already know because I've asked in the beginning if they have other life insurance, and I let them know, listen, the price that I'm going to tell you today is definitely going to be more than what you currently have. I need you to keep that in mind. Don't try to compare it. You are a lot older, and if they have pre-existing conditions and you've had a heart attack, all right? But the blessing is I'm going to be able to take care of you. So you want to say that. You want them to be mindful of that. Using the words like, this is great for only 25,000 or for 25,000, it's only. The word only is so powerful. Like, oh man, this is great. I love to say that, especially when I know that some of my older clients are paying double than what I'm about to quote. I'll say, wow, this is really good. This quote's better than mine. And I'm not lying when I say that for some of my clients. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. That is a positive. And then I'm telling them a number. Even if they can't afford it, they still feel good because I made it a positive. Oh, well, that's okay. Well, you know what? That's a little bit too much for me right now. You know what, honey? No problem. Thank you so much for being honest. Because like one of them says, it's not going to do you. I don't say myself. I say it's not going to do you or your loved ones any good if you cannot keep this benefit, right? I keep me out of it. And then I show less. All right. Understand. If they talk about, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my brother, my cousin, my uncle, my boyfriend, my attorney, whoever. I need to pray about it. Most is the money. The premium's too much. Don't ask them, you want me to show you some lower quotes? Just start showing some lower rates. Oh, you know what? I can definitely understand that. And really, that do I need to talk to my X, Y, and Z? Craig, if you could speak in real quick. And just state what you do in the beginning, if you don't mind, when you're asking them as far as if anybody else needs to be here before you start.
Sure, no problem. So after my warm up, my introduction is to get some of the objections that I might get at the end out of the way, and also to know how I'm going to be getting paid at the end once I give the rate. So after my warm up, I will ask them. I will say, so Christian, before we begin, I need to make sure that you qualify for our program. So the first few questions are going to determine if we continue our conversation. That sound fair to you? And they'll say yes. And I'll say, okay, have you been diagnosed with having HIV or AIDS? No. Are you bedridden, receiving hospice care, or terminally ill, given 12 months or less to live? No. Are you of sound mind and body to make your own decisions? And they'll think about it and they'll say, well, yeah. And I say, well, the reason why I'm asking you that is because I want to make sure some of my clients, they use a payee to help balance their budget and pay their bills, or they have to talk it over with a spouse, the brother, sister, the children, the goldfish, whomever. And I usually get a laugh from that. I said, so what you're telling me is that you make your own decisions on how you spend your money. When we find a plan that fits your budget, you'll be able to make your own decisions. And they say, yes, I make my own decisions. That way, at the end, they can't tell me, hey, I need to talk this over with my cousin, my sister. You've already told me you make your own decisions. And then I'll say, ask them who their beneficiary is. They tell me who the beneficiary is. I say, the reason why I'm asking you about the beneficiary, because we do pay our claim out within 24 hours of claim approval. And we ask our clients, in order for us to pay that claim out within our 24 hours of approval, do you use an active checking or savings account to pay your bills? Pretty much, do you have a bank account?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations, you qualify for Lincoln Heritage. Then I go into my itinerary of how I'm going to go through my presentation so they know what to expect.
Very good. Very good.
I'm getting paid out right in front.
Awesome. So having that clear up front alleviates the, I need to talk to my uncle, brother, cousin, Sammy, the dog, right? Because you've already asked that in the beginning to make sure that you are speaking to the individual that is going to make that decision. All right. I still forget from sometimes. Go ahead, Craig.
I was going to say, if they, it's not often that I get that, but if I do get that, I know it's the price.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's the price. So once I get that, I know it's the price. I'll show them something. Later.
All right. So yeah, always that price. Always that price. Always want to be paying attention to these folks. The last section, before we get into the importance of asking the key questions, anybody have any questions, any comments on that second part of this presentation?
I do.
Let's go. Go ahead,
Okay.
Flora.
So, with COVID going on, is it safe to tell them that, like, we don't have that question or even mention that? Because I know a lot of, remember hearing on the call that other companies have added that COVID question in there. So is that something that even needs to be said, or can we let them know that that's something? Because, some people may not even be aware.
Yeah. So I definitely would say that I would not want to just put it out there to them, oh, we don't even have the COVID question in our app. Like, you don't want to speak that. Although Lincoln Heritage has not given us any indication whether they are okay with us saying it or not, just on, caution on the side of it's not necessary. Now, I will say that if you get a client that says, I'm really shopping around, oh, trust and believe I'm saying it. Oh, well, where are you shopping to? Because you may not have noticed that 90% of the life insurance companies are no longer accepting new clients because of this pandemic. I'll say it then, but it's not going to be a normal, day to day, every person that I'm talking to. That's like a negative. I don't want to bring anything like that in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Good question though. Good question.
Hey, Chrissy, can I mention one other thing when
Absolutely.
you were talking about the health questions, and if you know if they answer yes to one of the health questions, how you were stating that, hey, you must have been have you been turned down by other companies during those health questions, because a lot of people struggle with modified clients and getting them covered because of the rates. Number one, I never tell a client how their policy works until they have chosen a rate. One, but two, through the health questions, if they answer a yes to any of the health questions, I like Chrissy, I just don't mask over it. I make it like you have COPD. Oh wow, when were you diagnosed with that? Well, that is, unfortunately, that is it's something that's uninsurable. And I will throw in there, especially with the COVID, because companies know that COVID affects the respiratory. So with COPD, they are not going to cover that. And I kind of take it away from them, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry," and I'll say, "Well, no worries. We are still able to help. We're one of the very few companies that can still help you." That way, when I get to the end and I tell them how their policy works, they're always thinking about, well, forget the 2-year wait period. They can help me, so I'm going to continue. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this policy. But again, I don't let them know how their policy works until they've chosen their rate. As far as they know, that rate is a standard rate that has a 2-year wait period, because I don't tell them the difference between the rates between final expense and the 2-year wait period. Again, I do not tell them how their policy works until they have chosen a rate. And before I even show them their rates, that accidental, I make like the accidental is the best thing right after FCGS. After they choose their rate, I'll say, "Now, I told you a second thing about your accidental and how it was going to work," and I tell them how their policy works, and then I throw in there, "But this accidental, it is going to protect your policy in the first 2 years." And so I make the accidental golden with modified clients. That's all I wanted to say to add on to what you were saying about the health questions and them being turned down. How they can avoid, because some people get scared when they know a client's modified because they worry about the rates. Nope. If you build that FCGS up the way you should and throw it in with that accidental, and you've done your job, the rates won't even matter. They know that they can get covered, and they've been turned down before.
They've been turned down, right?
Get covered.
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff. And that definitely, man, fire. Hopefully you guys were really listening to what he just said. But it also goes back to when I said, as far as not going into detail about the program without knowing if their final expense are modified. Like, I will not talk about that we had a day one benefit if this person's modified. Like, I'm not doing that. I did that plenty of times before and had to backtrack. So awesome. Okay. Jumping in. Who can tell me why it is important to ask the key discovery questions that we just went over?
I can.
Go, Michelle. This is your day, baby girl. Even though it was Craig's birthday, it's your day.
Happy birthday, Craig. So the importance of asking the key questions is so that we'll know how to actually help them to hear the need so that we can meet that need.
Right. We need to know why we are there. We need to know why we're there. We need to know how to sell them. We need to know how they can help themselves sell themselves, right? Here, I jotted down some questions. Is this information just for you or for you and another loved one? It is very, 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 very important not to say, is this information for just you or for another loved one? Because now you've given them a way out. Now they'll say, oh yeah, that was for my uncle. That was for my cousin. They no longer live here. My dad who just died, it was for somebody else because they don't want to deal with it right now, although they know they need it. So your words are very important. Is this information for just you or for you and another loved one? Most people are either looking for additional coverage, have no coverage, or need help with their final arrangements. Why did you fill out this card? Trying to figure out what they need. Do they have life insurance? Do they need additional, or do they need help with their final arrangements, right? Have you thought about how you want it to be handled? Are we, I always say, are we looking at cremation or burial? Do you have any additional life insurance that we will be working with? Again, I always put we in there, right? And whenever I put that we will be working with, they now think, oh, I'm different. I'm not trying to cancel their policies. I'm not trying to, do anything with what they have. This is different. I want them to know from the beginning, I'm different. All right. If you would have died last night, how would your loved ones handle your arrangements today? I skipped one. Have you ever been financially responsible for a loved one's burial or cremation? Did your beneficiary ever plan a funeral before? How do you think your beneficiary will be emotionally when you pass on? Do you know how much a cremation or a burial costs today? Now, with that, I would only ask if they said they want to be cremated. I would only ask, do they know how much a cremation is? If they said buried, do you know how much a burial is? I'm not going to ask them if they know both, right? And then when do you think the funeral home wants their money? Now, these are not questions that are just asked boom, 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 boom in this order, right? They are questions that I know that I am going to ask at some point throughout this conversation if everything goes right, right? Because I want to know these very things. And I want to know these things because these questions are going to help me to understand how to sell this person, right? Or how to help this person. Is also going to help them to understand why they really need us, why they need that family support service. Making them think about, have you ever dealt with this before? No? Okay, so you have no idea what your loved one is going to have to deal with. Let me help you understand how important this benefit is, right? Selling the sizzle. And again, the sizzle is our Funeral Consumer Guardian Society. Very, very, very important. Questions help the conversation flow, right? It helps it to keep going. Things that you should remember, things that you should have memorized, these questions. Any questions, comments, anything you want to add to this at all? Nope.
Hey, can I say one thing, Chrissy?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I was just going to tell them that beneficiary is also important for building the value in the policy as far as getting bigger, speaking their name, but also, one thing I ask is, I always ask, are you looking to leave any monies behind for the beneficiary? Mm-hmm. And most will say yes. So that means if they want a burial, they've already told you that it's important to leave money behind for the beneficiary. Well, you need more than 10,000. You need more than 10,000. So I base, on some of the checks that I get. That is one of the reasons why I built value with the beneficiary too, with leaving monies behind, amongst other things that I do to get the big checks.
Awesome. And Greg, I seen you were looking as though you couldn't really hear him. He was saying that he definitely asked the questions as far as that beneficiary. He really digs deep on who the beneficiary is, the relationship, and if in fact that loved one would like to leave a little bit of extra money for that beneficiary. And he said that helps him to get the bigger premiums as well, because he's letting them know that this cash can be left for the beneficiary. So you want to use the beneficiary's name often. All right.
Chrissy.
Yep.
So really this is for Craig. So Craig, how do you, so if someone wants to leave money for their loved one, but the cost is too high, how do you come back or explain that in a way well, you want to leave this much money, this is how much it's going to cost. Because I've had that kind of backfire on me where like, oh, it's still too, it's too much.
So
And
so when I'm building the value, I'm always telling them, what, whatever we do though, we want to make this affordable. It all comes down to affordability. I want you to keep in mind that today you want to get the most you can afford today, because these rates that I'm going to give you are not going to be the same 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, because you're going to be older. Keep in mind also, you can increase this policy at any time that you want, but affordability is the key word here. So I'm letting them know that although you want to get this extra amount so you can leave more behind for your loved ones, let's still make this affordable, because there's been times in the past where I was able to talk someone into getting a bigger premium, but they really couldn't afford it, and then a month later they cancel. So there's been times where I've had to talk people down from higher premiums to protect them, because I know they can't afford it. So if you set the question up, you never have to backtrack, because you're telling them whatever you choose, you make sure that it's affordable. That way they can't look at it and say, well, this is, I want to do 25,000, but it's too high, so I'm just not going to get anything. No, we're going to put something together that's affordable, because right now you don't have anything in place. And little Johnny, we just talked about Johnny. If something happens to you, this is your beneficiary, so that tells me there's a close relationship. Johnny's going to be hurt, but if you don't leave anything for Johnny to take care of things, he's going to be broke and hurt at the same time. Affordability is always important monthly. I can build a value as much as I can. Heck, I can tell you how great 35,000 is going to be for you, but if you can't afford it, I don't want you to buy it. But do know that you can build up to 35,000. I did the same thing with my policy, and I say that to them. I started off with what was affordable, and I just built up to the 35,000. So you always want to you don't want to coerce them into getting a higher premium, but just letting them know, hey, you're looking to get a burial for 10, and that the average cost is 8 to 10,000. And you also stated that you want to leave a little money behind. So when I show you my rates, I am going to not go lower than 10,000 based off of what you told me. But I want you to make sure that you get what is affordable for you.
And that's bold. That's the boldness that Craig has built up, understanding that you have to build the value. When I think about commercials, last week I took, or Monday actually, these days are just flying. Last week on Monday, I took a marketing class. I'm taking some marketing classes, right? And it had us looking at commercials and different fonts, different colors, different pictures, all of these things that go into the advertisement. And it's set up for the consumer to want to buy, right? The value. How do you communicate the value to an individual from an ad or from a commercial, right? And think about Apple has done an amazing job. Amazing, because even still, I want to say almost every person in the world has something Apple product. Why is that? Why is that? Because of their marketing, the value, they set it up that you can't have any bugs. You don't have to worry about all these different things with your cell phone, right? I mean, they've made it amazing for you to think that I have to have an Apple. I love my Android. I save more money on my Android phone, right? But there are certain things on that iPhone that I can do that I can't do on my Android, right? And vice versa. But the value, people will spend $1,100 for a cell phone. $70 for a case, $100, $200 a month for, to have a cell phone because they believe they need it. And so what we have to do is we have to believe that everyone needs this product. That way we can help them understand that they need this product. You are that advertisement. Bottom line. You are the advertisement. I just appreciate you guys. So getting people to answer their phone. This one is the end, and we are done. We are right on time too. Getting people to answer their phone. I wanted to end it with this one as we go into next week with our next training topic. Getting these folks to answer the phone, y'all. I know that you guys are probably sitting there thinking that folk are on the other side of that telephone, ready to beat you up. They ready to just, curse you out and slam the phone in your ear and just make you feel horrible. That's not the truth. All right. They're not. It's just a perception that we put in our minds to keep us from calling. We think they're eating, they're busy, they don't want to talk to us, they're not going to answer all these things, right? Well, there are some things that we can do to help more people answer the phone. Send them a phone or a door cracker letter, right? In that letter, I do have at the bottom, I have been trying to reach you unsuccessfully. Please call to get the information that you requested. I need to ask a few questions to be able to provide you with the price, right? And I will handwrite it and then copy all of them, just so they know that's handwritten. That's me saying, hey, I've been trying to get you. Dial their number 2 to 3 times in a row. Telemarketers and collection agencies are not going to dial their number 2 to 3 times in a row. Only people that really want to get a hold of you will do that. A lot of times they won't answer at that second ring, the second time. Sometimes they'll answer at the third, and they might sound pissed off. So be prepared, okay? To be like, oh my God, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm not a telemarketer. I'm glad you answered. I was trying to leave you a voicemail. My name is Christine. I'm calling you about the information you requested. It has been weeks. We have been trying to reach you. Thank you for answering. I know this is very important for you and your family. What is this about? Okay, you filled out a form for the da-da-da-da, right? Dial the number. Do not be afraid. They don't know you. They can't see you. You can't see them. They could walk past you tomorrow and you wouldn't even know. So just dial. Just make the dials. You are not wasting a lead. I promise you. You're wasting the leads by not calling, by not getting in touch with these people. So make the dials. Call them 3 different times in the same day. Okay. I don't know how many times I would have taken 50 of these leads and just was running through all 50 of them. And then wonder why I'm not getting too many people on the phone. And then when I just take 20 and I bang out that 20 in the morning, and then I bang out the same 20 in the afternoon, and I call them again, I'm down on 2-3 times in the morning, 2-3 times in the afternoon, 2-3 times in the evening. Oh, I'm getting more people on the phone. That is when you're seeing, oh, how does she get 2 and 3 and 4 apps in the same day? Because I'm blowing their phone up. I am working as a tele agent. That is what they do, right? You don't see activity because I'm not working. I'm not working a phone. It's as simple as that, right? You got to work the phone, and you got to get out of your mind of, they're going to be like, this number just came through. Yeah, they should. And they should answer it. This guy from a 919 number blew my phone up. I'm like, I done seen this number 5 times. And then finally it came back through again. I said, you know what, let me answer this. I answered it, found out it was an insurance guy from down in North Carolina when my daughter had a car accident, trying to offer her some money. He kept calling. He kept calling. He kept calling. He left me one voicemail, but then he kept calling and kept calling and kept calling until I finally answered, like, hello? He was like, is this Christine Austin? Oh, you really want me, right? Keep dialing. They will eventually answer. Call them 3 days in a row. Then leave a message. You can send text messages. You don't know if they're going to receive it or not until you try to send a text. And if it bounced back, you know, you can't send a text message. Send a text with your virtual ID, right? Letting them know, and a picture of the lead. Listen, I'm not calling you random. I'm trying to reach you about this important information you requested. It is time sensitive. Please call me back or text me back the best time to call you. All I need is 10 minutes to explain it. I'm not a sales rep. Go to their home. Even right now where we do have the COVID and a lot of people don't want to do door to door, and that's fine. Some places I think might be closing again, but you can definitely drive through the neighborhood, knock on that door, stand back like, hey, I have been trying to reach you about this information. Do the presentation on the porch, or ask them, you know, if they don't have a phone number or you couldn't get the phone number, verify the phone number. Can I call you right now while I'm sitting in my car to go over this with you, right? So now they see a face. You can do all kinds of things, but you have to put in the work, right? We have to put in the work. You can leave a note on their door, a personal note. Hey, I have been trying to reach you via the phone. If you're like me, you don't answer numbers you don't know. Here is my number. Please call me. I will try you again tomorrow. You can just have that note and then make photocopies of it, put it in the doors. You don't have to handwrite 20,000 different notes. Write one note, make a copy of it. All right. Send a postcard. I use Send Out Cards platform, and you can send postcards. You can make personalized postcards, very inexpensive. Postcards are cheaper than sending a letter. Just the stamp, everything is just cheaper. You could do a postcard. Every person that's touching that postcard is going to see your information, and you can let them know the same thing. Hey, I have been trying to reach you. Sorry for all the noise upstairs. I don't know what is going on. But I've been trying to reach you, right? Sometimes we have to do the work. No, not sometimes. We always have to do the work. We always have to do the work. Ty wrote in there, FYI, thinking about my past loved ones gave me a calm and deep focus, and it took the anxiety away from making calls and knocking on doors. You know, that goes back to our why. You know, why are we here? Why do we want to be an agent? Why do we want to be successful? Why do we want the money? Like, you have to do the work. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And then you can, like, I do the little challenge with 100 presentations. I make fun out of it. Like, okay, I need to hurry up and get to this 100. And right now I'm doing it with another agent from a whole different agency. Just to see who can get to 100 first, and whoever gets to it first gets $100. So that makes it fun, right? So finding fun in your business, ways to make you want to get up and go and do this job. It's not always easy, but it's worth it. Ty used to always say, I'm surprised he didn't type it up there. Whatever makes you the most uncomfortable makes you the most money. That has been a true statement this whole 8 years plus that I've been with this company. I cannot say that has not been the case. I wish I could, but it's been the case. And so I continue to do the things that are uncomfortable because it does make me the most money. All right. Questions, comments? We got 10 good minutes here. Anybody get any value from this training for this evening? Was this good for you?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And thank you, Craig, for sharing too. Thank you.
Not a problem at all. Anytime.
Yes, yes. All right, Brandy, I see your thumbs up down there. Training topics for next week.
I'd like to say that it was very valuable to me.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I love the tips. It's amazing, just the small little nuggets that you give to us. Definitely are very invaluable. So I definitely appreciate it.
All right, awesome.
I want to say thank you. Yes, definitely very valuable.
Thank you for speaking up. I appreciate that. Very good, very good. All right, so looking at our training topics for next week, we're going to be going over the key points to an elevator pitch. Very important to have an elevator pitch because you don't always have time to go through a full presentation, but you want to be able to capture the individual's attention like that. networking, events, social platforms. We are going to go deep into how you can get information for different networking events and social platforms. I'll have some things for you guys. Ways to sell on social media. Excuse me. Understanding that you are the brand. You are the brand and what that means. We are going to be going over that next week.